We got interrupted in our filming, so I'm going to resume from the advanced foot-to-foot lunge. Remember, it's an acceleration. We'll do 10. I think I was in position of 4 last time. Advanced lunge, recover, retreat. Advanced lunge, recover, retreat. Foot to foot, lunge, recover, retreat. Foot to foot, lunge, recover, retreat. Advanced lunge, recover, retreat. Advanced lunge. Make sure you are accelerating. Surprise your opponent with the speed towards the end of your movement. And one more. So rest. You will recall that the balestra is a term, it's Italian. It means jump lunge. People sometimes redundantly say balestra lunge, as in fact I do. But it really just means a jump. I will remind you, as I said before, I use the analogy of a cat gripping the floor, or perhaps you can imagine gripping those carpeted posts the cat used, or a mountain climber with those crampons that grab onto the surface. So you jump forward, and the instant your front foot lands, it's already lunging. You can see my feet from here. You can see that my front foot is making the lunge the moment it's landed with the back foot. Jump, lunge. So let's do 5 of those, just the jump, not even the kick, just the jump. So you're going forward, you're a tiny bit off the ground. Don't think this, think that. Ready? Jump. Jump. And you're really kicking your toe out. You're not kicking it like this, like a horse, but rather kicking it like a modern dancer would do. Jump. 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 This is a difficult move, so let's try it again this way. You're going to do a jump and extend your leg as if you were lunging. So you'll go jump, extend, and then relax. Go. Jump, extend. Jump, extend. Jump, extend. Jump, extend. Jump, extend. And now we'll do it with the lunge. Again, the balestra is meant to cover just a very slight amount of distance where you're out of range. It's meant to be violent and surprising. It's not as subtle in some ways as an advanced lunge, which can go slow and then surprise you. This is just brute athleticism. The balestra from 6. Go. Jump, lunge, recover, retreat. 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 Jump, lunge, recover, retreat, and rest. I might take a side detour here and tell you there's a marvelous book called Iron and Silk about a Yale graduate who teaches English in China but also studies wushu. And the wushu master of China is so disciplined that he will do that sort of repetitive exercise literally 1,000 times. And any martial art, and this is one, needs sometimes not just thoughtful training, but just plain repetition, doing things correctly over and over and over and over until they're so deeply ingrained that your body does it automatically. Some of that is simply the number of times you do it. Now we'll do it from 4. Ready? Go. Jump, lunge, recover, and back. Jump, lunge, recover, and back. Jump, lunge, recover, and back. Jump, lunge, recover, back. Jump, lunge. Remember to accelerate. You can hear the rhythm, I hope, with the foot. There's a loud noise and then a softer noise. If you're a musician, you know that it would be like a 16th note followed by a dotted 8th. That's the rhythm. Ta-da. It's like saying ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. We're going to do 5 more ta-das from any position you like. Let's do it, actually, let's do it from octave, the 8 position. You're going to jump and bring your point up and hit in the low line if you have a target. 5 of these, ready? Go. Low line, go. 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 And relax. As you know, fencing is very fluid. There are many situations you find yourself in. We've heard me practice this a lot, where you lunge and you recover and protect yourself. But of course, one option is to stay in the lunge if your attack has been parried, and then make your own counter riposte from there. A word about terminology. The word counter has two meanings in fencing. A counter 6, as you know, is a circle 6. Counter 4 is a circle 4. Some coaches call circle 6 and circle 4 for that reason. The French term is contre de six, and contre means is the same word as counter. What I'm talking about is not a counter parry, which is a circle, but a counter riposte, where counter means to answer somebody else's riposte, like a conversation. So a counter riposte doesn't mean it's a circle, it means it's an answering riposte. I attack, I am parried, in comes the riposte, I make my own parry, and make a counter riposte. Any riposte I make in that circumstance can be called a counter riposte. So we're going to make a lunge, stay in the lunge, parry 4, and make a disengaged riposte. You'll do an advanced lunge. You come back, you stay in the lunge, you covered most of your target with 4 parry. With your tip, you then make a disengaged riposte. This is based on the idea that if I parry 4, the most common response is they parry 4 and I go underneath to hit. If I parry 4, they often will parry 4. You can go underneath to the disengage. Slowly once more. Advanced lunge. In the lunge, I parry 4, disengage my point, and hit. All in the lunge. Recover and retreat. We'll do a couple sets of 5. Advanced lunge. Parry 4, disengage riposte. Notice my hand nice and high, my point lower than that. Recover, retreat. Advanced lunge, stay in 4. Stay in the lunge rather, parry 4, disengage, hit. Recover, retreat. Advanced lunge, parry 4, stay in the lunge, disengage, hit, and back. Lunge, parry 4, in the lunge, disengage, and hit. One more. Advanced lunge, parry 4, in the lunge, disengage, and hit. And now, if that's relatively new, which it may be something you haven't practiced much, switch to your non-dominant side. We'll do 5 of those. Ready? Go. Advanced lunge, stay in the lunge, parry 4, disengage, and hit. Recover, retreat. Advanced lunge, stay in the lunge, parry 4, disengage, recover, retreat. Advanced lunge, parry 4, disengage, recover, retreat. Advanced lunge, stay in the lunge, parry 4, disengage, recover, retreat. And last one, advanced lunge, stay in the lunge, parry 4, disengage, recover, and retreat. And now one more set of 5 with the less stress this time. Set of 5 with the less stress. Go. Less of the lunge, parry 4, disengage, riposte. Have a fairly high speed on this one. Go. Parry 4, disengage, riposte. And back. Go. The left of the lunge, parry 4, disengage, riposte, and back. Go. The left of the lunge, parry 4, disengage, riposte, and back. The left of the lunge, parry 4, disengage, riposte, and back, and rest. Let's review the parry positions. We've done this several times. I've given some of you sheets on it. It is, of course, online. If you're not really sure instantly which parry position is which, you should print out something from online unless you have the one I gave you. Put it on your wall in your study, your bedroom, or somewhere, and look at it and study it so that you know. You recall there's a quadrant here in the foil target. High, low, outside, inside. Each quadrant has 2 parries associated with it. One parry, your hand is supine, or palm up. The other parry, your hand is prone, or palm down. There are reasons for this, which I'll go into later. The position of 6 you know is normal on guard. The position of 4 you know is a high inside parry. Below 4 is 7, or septime is the old French term. And laterally across from that is octave, or 8. So you have 6, 4, 7, 8. Do it with me. 6, 4, 7, 8. 6, 4, 7, 8. Notice that when I go from low to high or high to low, I make a kind of a crescent or arc. So 6 or sixte is the old term, 4 or quarte is the old term, 7 or septime, 8 or octave. If it helps you, if you're good with numbers, maybe you visualize 6/8 as a fraction, 6/8, and 4/7 as a fraction, 4/7. The system doesn't appear to have a real easy way to keep it clear, so you just have to practice it. And like anything, as you're practicing it, if you say the words as you move your body, it cements in your memory more quickly. There are some combination pairs that work well here. 6 to septime or 7 and back makes it kind of oval. If you watch, I'm making kind of oval. It's a little bit like a counter 6, but more angular. 4 to octave or 8 does the same thing in mirror image. So we're going to practice that now. So we'll go 6, 7, back to 6, down to 7, protecting the low inside line, back to 6, down to 7. You can see the oval you're tracing in the air. And from position of 4 down to 8, and back to 4, again, you can see the oval you're tracing in the air. These are good zone parries, that is, they protect the entire target. They're not specific to one particular area. Like a circular parry, they engulf everything that comes in. So do it with me. 6, 4, 7, 8, 6, make that little crescent. 7, 6, 4, 8, 4, 6, 8, 6, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8. Those are the 4 parries that have supine positions. Each of them has an alternative parry for that space, and those are prone positions. The 6th position, prone, is called tierce or 3. It's like a saber stance where your hand is like this. Very strong in some ways, like slapping something off a shelf. Useful in certain ways. The 4th parry has 5 or cant, Q-U-I-N-T-E, and that's where you simply drop your guard and your point goes up. This is pretty specific for when someone takes your blade and tries to come in this way. Septime has prime, which is where you point your elbow at your opponent and curl your hand. Weird parry, but useful in some circumstances. Some people teach it by saying you turn the doorknob and open the door. And seconde or 2 is the parallel for 8. It's very natural. It's like slapping a mosquito off your leg. Very strong parry. 8 is more of a guiding parry or seeding parry, C-E-D-I-N-G. So we have 6, tierce or 3, 4, 5, 7 or septime, prime, 8 or octave, seconde or 2. I'm going to say that again with both the English and the French terms. 6 is sixte, 3 is tierce, 4 is quarte, 5 is cant, 7 is septime, prime is prime, octave, 8 is octave, and 2 is seconde. So once more with me. Tierce, seconde, 4, 5, septime, prime, tierce, 6, seconde, septime, and back on guard. From these positions, you can make virtually any kind of riposte. They're all identical in that sense. So if you make a disengage from octave, it goes up high. If you make a seconde parry and want a coupe, you go clear the blade, come back this way. Even a prime, you can make a coupe and come and hit this way. Rather unusual, but does happen at the higher levels. So any kind of disengage or coupe riposte from any of these will work in the right circumstances. I want you to take a couple of minutes and do shadow fencing. That is, fencing with an opponent who isn't there. And it's also shadow boxing is where that comes from. So take a moment, and I'll do it too. You just practice hitting. If you don't have a target, you just practice in the air. But you imagine an opponent in front of you in various situations that might arise. So together we'll do some shadow fencing. Ready? Begin. Think about moving your feet primarily. Distance is the most important thing. Are you within range to make an attack? Let's say you make an attack and your imaginary opponent parries, and you parry and make a riposte. So you're putting your imagination in gear at the same time you're practicing the moves. Number 2, your finger work should be very loose, firm but loose. You're not gripping your foil at all. And rest. The last thing we're going to do is visualization. A lot of athletes use this. I've seen skiers use it, figure skaters use it, sprinters use it. Virtually all high-level athletes use some kind of visualization to put themselves in a situation so that when emotions emerge, when things are tense, they've practiced that and they can deal with it. It's quite difficult to get this kind of mindset. It takes a lot of practice, but can be done. It's what's often called the zone, which coincidentally sounds a lot like Zen, and it's kind of the same principle. You let thoughts and emotions flow past you. Thoughts are like dreams, they come and they go. They don't really have any force if you don't let them, if you don't engage with them. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes in a second and visualize a couple of situations. Find a chair, a couch, or on the floor. If you are on a chair or a couch, please sit on the edge of the seat, not leaning back. There are 2 ways you can visualize fencing matches. One is you can be like a camera or an audience member on the side of the strip. The other is you can be inside the mask like a teeny GoPro camera. So we'll take the first one. You're going to close your eyes. You see yourself on a metal strip in a competition. Perhaps it's a high school duel match, or perhaps it's some outside tournament. And let's say you're down 2-4 in a 5-touch bout. Close your eyes and visualize yourself. Watch this in slow motion. You see the director call fence, and you see yourself move back and forth. You even maybe see that big elastic bubble I'm always talking about between you and your opponent. You see yourself move back and forth, and then you see yourself make an attack, all in slow motion, evading the parries of your opponent, and you score right on the chest. It's now 4-3. You have 3 seconds left. 3 seconds is plenty of time to score a touch, and that's all you need. You don't need to win, you just need to tie it. You're watching from the audience. The referee says fence, the clock starts, and you move smoothly and carefully down the strip, again in slow motion, and then you see acceleration as you take your opponent's blade and hit her for the touch just before the clock expires. You've now set up a 1-minute tiebreaker. Very important to realize that you only need 1 touch, and a minute is an eternity. So I recommend ignoring the clock altogether. Just fence as you normally would. You're back on guard. You're watching yourself as if you were some kind of ghost. The referee says fence, and you move back and forth. You take defensive positions, you retreat, then you take offensive positions. Several exchanges occur perhaps. Blade work, distance work. You avoid an attack from distance. So does she. Eventually, you make your move, you beat her blade, make some kind of motion, avoid her parry, and score a touch in a nice lunge, and you come back from 2-4 down to win 5-4. And your teammates go crazy. The other visualization method is to be inside your mask and see it from your own eyes, so to speak. Again, you're down 2-4. The referee says fence, and you watch her move towards you, and you feel yourself move towards her. You watch her movements, her habits. Eventually you see around a habit, you make your attack with an advanced lunge or a double advanced lunge or whatever it takes. And in slow motion, you watch your point move, go around her defenses, and score a touch. It's now 3-4. Again, you have 3 seconds left, but it is a long time. It's possible to score 2 or even 3 touches in 3 seconds. As the referee says fence, you move very smoothly down the strip, being aggressive, taking the blade, lunging and hitting just before the clock expires. You've now arranged a 4-4 situation. And again, a minute is a very long time, so ignore it. Just fence normally. The referee says fence, you see yourself move, you feel the confidence that comes with it. You're just letting your body do what it does. You're not overthinking it. You're not worried. You're just moving. In that sense, it's a very Zen state, very blank, so to speak. And as you move back and forth and the blades interplay, eventually you grab her blade and you score on an attack or a repost. Watch yourself do it. See her blade coming slowly. See you taking her blade. See your successful repost that lands with the light and the buzzer. If you practice this kind of visualization for really anything, a test, any kind of awkward social situation, any kind of performance, whether it's musical or athletic or dramatic, you will find, if you practice it over time, that you become better at managing the nerves that become part of any competition. Think about that. Okay, you normally have 3 classes a week, I believe, so you can use this video as many times as you like this week, and I'll have another one ready for you next week. Good luck, stay in good health, be careful, and make sure you're taking care of yourself. Thanks.